Along the line, I lost one baby before my first child.
That a miscarriage? Or...
Yes, it was a miscarriage though because of the domestic violence beating.
You were beaten and you lost your child?
Yes.
Hello viewers, welcome to another exciting episode on Talk with Mo. It is season 5. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. With me in the studio today is Ijeoma Ugochukwu Ihezuoh. She has a wonderful story to tell. Single parent who fled a domestic violence situation. These are heart-wrenching stories. So Ijeoma, welcome to Talk with Mo. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
You look beautiful. I love your hair.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You were actually made by my daughter.
Your daughter made this?
Yes, one of my girls did it for me.
I hope you paid her.
Of course, that's one of the things I trained them for, to be independent.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Welcome to Talk with Mo, and thank you for coming today to share your story with us. I know that the topic of domestic violence is not one that most women who have experienced it want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's a very sensitive topic. Sometimes asking questions about it feels like we're rehashing the situation or we're re-traumatizing you. And so it can be a very, very slippery slope. But thank you for even agreeing to share your story today, because there's so many women going through domestic violence who are silent about it. So thank you for coming. Before we get into today's episode, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ijeoma Ugochukwu Ihezuoh. I'm a single parent of 3 beautiful kids, beautiful children. I migrated to Canada 2019. And as a result of the domestic violence I had encountered, I tried to see if I can manage it. But at that point in time, my life was at stake. And I look up to, my kids look up to me too. And I don't want to take chances. I have 8 parents. I have beautiful family and friends who needs me more than what I think I need myself for. So I had to take a very bold step to readjust my tracks, my steps, and come over to Canada and start afresh. And presently, God has been so good. It's been so tough for the first 3-4 years of my life in Canada, trying to, integrate into the system. At that point in time, you don't know where to find yourself. You don't know your bearing. You try this, you try that. You keep trying different things, because back home, I was a banker for like 12 years. And I worked there, one bank, and I just kept to my word that, okay, I'm gonna be loyal to this bank, till my retirement. But as fate we have it, things didn't work out that way. So I had to change from that position to Canada. So coming in as an immigrant, as a refugee with 3 kids, my son was 3. I had to back in with my 2 daughters, my left and right, and then just carry take my wrapper, Nigerian wrapper, to tie my son behind.
So you carried your son on your back?
On my back. So
and your 2 other
2 girls,
kids?
Yes.
How old were they? Your son was 3?
Was 3.5, and the others was about 8, and the other one was 5 plus, about 6 years.
How long ago was this?
This was 2019.
So you left Nigeria in 2019.
Yeah.
How long were you married?
I was married for like about 12 years too.
12 years. Now, were there any red flags when you were dating your ex?
Basically, growing up in a Catholic faith, like my dad is a staunch Catholic man and a knight, and then we believe in one person. You marry one person and you stick to it forever, because you know that is one person you're going to stick with, right? So I kind of noticed a flag, but it was like he comes back and apologizes and says, okay, everything's going to be that. He was overreacting, he was tensed up and everything. So he gathered his friends, called his uncles, and they apologized, and he promised it's not going to happen again.
Okay.
So, but along the line, I lost one baby before my first child. And I didn't tell anybody what we post on Facebook.
Was that a miscarriage? Or?
Yes, no, what we said was a miscarriage, but it truly wasn't like a miscarriage. It was part of the it was a miscarriage though because of the domestic violence beating, but the baby was almost like more than through the second trimester of the baby.
You were beaten and you lost your child?
Yes. So And I still managed to, like, in Igbo culture, I'm from the eastern part. Anything you say, basically, the women are not always right. They feel you have to honor your husband. And maybe, of course, we women, we are the one at fault because they think we talk too much, we don't respect them. You work in a bank, you're a big girl, all of that criteria. They feel that you're insulting your husband's personality. So nothing you do is right. It's always like you're at fault. So we still have to kneel down. I'll kneel down, take his food on a tray, and I apologize to him before he can eat.
After the abuse,
Yes.
after he has put his hand on you.
Yes, not just battered me with my blisters and my red black eyes, and I have to wear sunshade in the bank in the daytime to, like, what happened? I fell through on the staircase, And so that is it, just to protect our marriage.
How often did this happen? How often?
Basically, when it was happening, at the time as a woman, I was even losing my self-esteem. I thought that I was the one at fault. Maybe I was not doing something right. So I had to go through Google, go learn some things, watch some things on YouTube. And even when at times it gets to a point, everybody takes a ride on me because I don't even know what is right and what is wrong, because I was trying to be perfect for the marriage, right?
You had lost your self-esteem.
I just lost my complete myself. I was an economist and I worked in a bank. I had a good life, everything was okay. I had my kids in the US. And so at that point in time, anything you say doesn't matter. It's what he says matters to me, So, and, when you're going out for an occasion, you have to clean up your makeup. He said, no, he doesn't want the makeup on your face. And when you're walking on the street, he's not confident to hold you by your hands. And when you want to travel for, like, your vacation, or you want to go have, like, I had complication on the first child due to the other one I lost before my first child. Now I was advised to go to the US to have my baby, and oh no, I don't have money, this, that. So I had to do a job in 3 different branches of my bank, and worked out towards to be the last person to pick towards my due date of my delivery. So I had to project myself, and traveling. The embassy, then you have to go like a family to make it look real for your visa to be, approved. So, let's go. He said he doesn't have money. I have to pay for the flight ticket for myself, him, and the first child I was able to have in Nigeria.
Was he working at the time?
He was working. Everything works. Everything he worked, and my parents, and the dad has some debt he has to pay off, and so he has to offset the debt of his late father. So
before his family.
Yeah, before his family. So I do not understand that, because I never heard about any debt at the time of the burial of the father, because I was at the meeting and everything though. And at that point in time, anything you say doesn't matter. I had my car. I had to pay for the car rental, pay for the house rent. So everything comes to the table. So when you try to raise the issue of home, oh, don't come and talk about money here. I'm paying my dad's, my old man's late father's bills, outstanding debt. And so I was paying the rent for like a couple of years.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I did pay for the rent for 8 years.
So pretty much he was living rent-free in your house.
Rent-free.
Beating you.
Free.
I'm sorry, I'll have to ask this question. And please excuse me. If you do not want to answer, do not answer. Throughout this period, were you guys intimate?
Yes, we were, because I actually didn't know anything about men. Well, growing up, my dad is very strict, and so it was just person, like, to me, I seemed like a mini, like my senior brother, like, So intimacy and all of that, he taught me most of those things. So I didn't know any of those things, right? So I have to be the one to succumb to his, when he wants it. When I want it, I can't even say it, because I don't even know when I want it. So whenever he wants it, it's like, okay, I have to, like, come to his terms. All I know, cook food, go to work, come back, the kids are good. Then make sure I don't put the key at the entrance of the door, because I get beaten. Because if he tries to put the key from the outside, there's a key from the inside, you're in big trouble. And get some threatening messages and calls from girls I don't know who they are, telling me they know my kids' school, they know where I live, telling me, let me, are you the share? I'm not only you get time, And the family comes to stay in my home for holidays from 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months.
And you were the one bearing the bill.
I cook, and my neighbors call me. If I know what was food bank, I would say my house was like a food bank there. I cook like as if, being a banker, I cook like Friday, Saturday, they cook. So they'll come and take things. And I was just like, I was even happy they're around, because I've never had that, feeling that, oh, I'm doing well. I felt I was doing well, like, oh, I'm in good record.
Or you were being taken advantage of.
Yes, I was taken advantage, but I was gullible. I was like vulnerable, and I was like, anything works. I'm so okay with that.
When did the light switch Come on.
Yeah, it got to a point as a couple, you know, when you want your husband's feeling and all of that, he doesn't come there for 6 months. I don't get touched by him. And the kids, there was no bonding. And I grew up in a family of 8 where my dad and my mom were like 10. There was this bonding, even though it's one pot of soup, we all deep hands, we go laugh, we go gist.
So you came from a very close-knit
very
family.
close family, and it was fun. Even though my dad was working hard with my mom, my dad was an engineer, my mom was a teacher before she became a principal. I'm a headmistress. So it was like nobody cares if there was poverty or middle class lifestyle. So we enjoyed it. And when we were sleeping, everybody would jump on each other and all of that. So that space wasn't there. And I noticed it wasn't happening with my kids. And everything I tried to talk to, and I was warned by the family, like the mom, don't discuss third party family issue to third party. And if you do that, you're exposing your family. So at that point, I was threatened, like, I don't want to lose my home, right? I don't want my kids to grow without it. I heard about single mom in Africa. So in Africa, it's like a threat.
Yes.
It's a taboo. You can't be a single mom because everybody points fingers at
social stigma.
Yeah, it's a stigmatization stuff like, oh, she's the one at fault. She didn't manage home. Or maybe she doesn't sabi do for bed, or she can't cook, or she doesn't know how to talk. So everything in checklist, I was trying to, even when I was, at times I looked like a fool, say, Jenna, you be this, what's going on? So, and I tried to reduce the noise because most cases it bangs the door and my landlord will come, the door is broken into two, like this wooden part. And I'll tell them that, we'll lock the key inside. And they're like, madam, this key not be waiting, they bang, you know. So the landlord just called me like, if I'm getting uncomfortable, I should call the welfare. I said, no, God forbid, though, I don't born 3, how am I going to go with 3 children, you know? So the one that really got me.
Also, the landlord knew something was off.
Yeah. So, but I tried to manage it because I don't want to lose my home because my mom and my dad, they've been married for like more than 50 years. My siblings, so it's like, why is your case different? Then maybe you are the problem, right? So I've knelt down when I had my son. I was pregnant with my son. I knelt down with my pregnancy about 6 months, and I was back traveling to the US to have my son. I said, please, for the sake of this children, not for me. If not for me, forget. I know say you don't send me anymore. But for the sake of these kids, let's just, pipe low. So my first daughter had some of the a little bit of experience, and I thank God when I came to Canada, I was able to pray so hard, and I worked with her, and I was monitoring her and observing her because she saw some of the
abuse.
Yeah, so 1 or 2 of them. So even when she comes and I said, no, I'm okay, I'll remind her of a cartoon that she likes, and all those Frozen. And but she's a smart girl. She knows there's something not right, So it's been long till I lost my bank job. I was paying the rent for a couple of years.
You lost your job?
I lost my job, and that was the worst of it. Then I used my car all these years, but when I lost my job, I had to sell 1 or 2 of my cars. And when I use this car, he will come back from his work. I have to drop him off at staff bus. Then I go pick him up from the staff bus. And when it's raining, I have to carry my kids because I don't have a nanny then when I lost my job. So he will take the touchlight from his phone and be checking around the car. Ijeoma, will you scratch my car and everything? I would jump up from my kitchen. I'll be so scared. And all this home video you guys watch is not fake, it's real. And when people see us on Facebook and you can't understand why there's a problem. Because
wait, what do you mean when people see us on Facebook?
Like when you post family feed photos.
So you were posting pictures to make everyone else believe you are living this fantasy.
He will post, I will post.
Oh, he will post as well.
So
one happy family.
One happy family. She's a banker, I'm an engineer. Oh, everything is good. I've called MFM pastors, I've called the priest, I've called the marriage counselor, but the beating was getting out of hands. Then when I'm sleeping, it took me time to recover. There will be like an attack, like a pillow suppressing me on the bed. So he
did that.
Yeah. So most cases I'll get some calls and threatening, and I don't sleep on the bed. I sleep at times in the living room. He doesn't want to say, oh, you stink, you do this and all of that. And I had my kids in the US, and I saw my life was at stake when I had the first child. There was a lot of complication due to the beating. And when people see me in bank, I don't dress like a banker because I have to pay the bills and take care of the household stuff and everything. But when they see us, I just package myself, say, oh, everything is good. So when I spoke to the mom, she threatened me like, if you just decide to go from this door, another lady will come in. You know, my son is handsome. He's a very...
This was your mother-in-law?
Yeah, no, my ex-mother-in-law.
Yes, sorry, your ex-mother-in-law. Thank you for that correction. Your ex-mother-in-law.
Yeah,
so she knew that there was abuse going on.
Yes,
but she threatened that if you left, someone else was coming to take your place.
Yeah, because I called her because I couldn't call my parents, you know.
Why couldn't you call your parents?
The way my dad trained me and my siblings, there's a whole lot of like, the least expect that by now you should know the kind of man you should live with. So I felt I'm a disappointment to my upbringing, and my dad was like, you know, health-wise, I don't want to add more to what he's going through. So I tried to call my other brother who came to find peace, and it was like, no, this and that, this is that, you know. So the Igbo cultural thing, I'm sorry to say, has really made most of his own ability to make him feel he has the right over me and everything. And he threatened me like, can't you see the handwriting on the wall? I'm done with you. I'm like, say, what am I going to go with 3 kids? You know, I can't go anywhere. It's okay, I'll frustrate the hell out of your life. So when I lost my bank job, I started working with Slot, because Slot system was one of my top accounts I managed in the bank. I worked with Animal Shaun, Hedis. I worked with some Eco Hotel, some of my top, you know, corporate account that I'm. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And it's okay, I can supply laptops for you as a director, get this discount, you know. I did some contract with Visa Phone, MTN, all those, you know, CUG phones, you know. So I was on the street doing BDC at the computer village, trying to package myself, because it's like a high esteem banker and suddenly you're nowhere to be found. But, you know, so I sold my cards and need to start afresh. Okay, honey, let me go and do my master's. I've had the kids and everything. I said, no, you can't do master's now. That he doesn't have money, because the first few days of our marriage, I was taking care of the bill, and he was going to school, and I was paying part of his school fees for him to be where he is. So we had an agreement. You be having kids while I'm furthering this.
You be having kids.
So when you get to that level and everything, and you're looking for a boy, because I've had 2 girls, and the family said I don't have a boy yet, so I have 2 left legs. So there was like a physical combat from the family to please them, to please him, and at the same time, I don't even know what to please myself about. I don't even know if I exist. I wake up in the morning, I see anything I see, I take it the way it is, and I keep...
So you had a total loss of identity.
Yeah, then I had a total loss. So I keep praying. I kept on praying. I'm a very staunch Catholic, and I call a couple of my girlfriends who they're in MFM. So we go there. So when the family comes over to my house, they take over my kitchen, take over the car, you know, and, you know, come to my master bedroom, looking for my passport, searching for everything.
Why were they looking for your passports?
They wanted to take the kids from me. I had my kids, and the last 2, I had them in the US. I was about to have the 3, but for the first one, due to complications, I was on bed rest for 6 weeks after the battery. And my colleagues were the one that came to my rescue. I passed out in the office, and they rushed me. And when they called him, he said, oh, I'm just pretending. And when they brought the food, he ate from the food. And those are kind of funny things, you know. So at that point in time, I kind of explained to him. And the doctor said, Mrs. C, I said, no, I slipped off. They said, you are lying, you know, because insurance couldn't pay domestic violence.
Of course.
So I had to call one of my Slot system who came to my rescue to pay. He came to the hospital and he paid off those bills, because it was a domestic violence, and I didn't want anybody to know about that because of my job, my integrity, my portfolio as a, you know, I was aspiring to be a branch manager then. So it was getting out of hand. So the ones that threatened me was when I received phone calls from the girls that had something to do with, you know, because his phone is actually locked by the fingerprint, the eye, whatever, the phone numbers. So I don't have access to the phone for the first 8 years of our marriage, you know. And so when I got a call telling me they know my kids' school, they know where I live, that was it. My eye just blinked. Mom,
So when the target became your kids, the light bulbs all went off.
Yeah, you did.
So you had put yourself to the back bench, but immediately your kids were involved.
Yeah, no, you dare not touch my kids. I mean, who are you?
So what did you do?
I tried to ask God for forgiveness, because I felt I made a very huge mistake getting married to the wrong person and not speaking out on time, because people don't know. I know how to package myself. So I had to go back and go on the drawing board, kneel down, ask God for his forgiveness, for his mercy, and ask for him to show me the way to take the right decision, because in Igbo culture, when you move, you can't just come back like that easily, right? From the marriage, right? So, but my life was at stake. I was being battered. I lost my job because of the pressure, my marriage.
Yeah.
My kids are witnessing, especially the first one. The last two don't really know what happened.
Much.
So the first one was experiencing a lot of chaotic noise, beating, shouting, and my cards were tampered. My credit card, he used them. I get a lot and get from the hotels and everything. So I just lost myself. So when my kids were my priority, and when I got that message from those people, I needed to go. I even seek for permission to go and study for my master's. He said he doesn't have money. So it hit me a lot. I go to and when I lost my bank job, I can't get insurance coverage again anymore for my kids. So one day my son was so sick and he couldn't afford to pay for his medical bills. He said I should go and pay. I had to go into I do long reach business, toothpaste, alkaline cups, and all and the pots. So I went to go to I actually rushed to one of those my suppliers. I said, come, I need some cartons. I'll pay you back. So I took those cartons, went to sell ahead of the cost price, to make profit. And I went back to the private hospital, and the man said, Madam IJ, what's going on? I said, oh God, please. So my son's was already almost going, and then so they had to admit him. So everything I did for him wasn't good enough. Nothing I did was good enough. The beating, and I lost self-pride. I didn't even know my identity anymore. I mean, the IJ that you know now was me before I got married. So people are seeing me now, like I'm a very social, jovial fellow. I love to, I have this drive, like energy, like I drive without even if I'm broke, you don't know. But I love an energy whereby the ambience, I want to create an ambience that when I leave that spot, people will feel my presence, say, oh, this girl came and she did it. No, regardless if there was money, there was fame, if there was popularity. I just want to be very happy, make everything work out good, because I've lost a lot of friends who died in this course of marriage.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so, and I don't want to be a victim of such. So I needed to give him that space. And I said...
Well, thank God you're here to tell your story, and thank God that you were brave to make the move that you made to leave him and come. So did he know that you were leaving Nigeria? What was that process like?
Yeah, because I had kids in the US, and I saw that US don't have time for people like us. They're not humanitarian like Canada, so they consider their own citizens, right? So my first child and myself, I couldn't have her in the US due to the complication. So I tried to go to the US for my master's. He said no. It's okay, let me go to Canada for trying. He said no. And my Canada visa was going to expire a couple of weeks' time. So I had to take a booster. The one really got to my point was that he also hit me again, blue-black. My neighbors came to my rescue.
Oh,
I
my
rode on the
goodness.
spiral. We have a spiral, this curvy stairs and everything. And then there was no bank to go back to the hospital for care. I was at home, had fever. I recovered from the fever for 3 days. And it got to a point that I actually felt that it doesn't touch me for a couple of months. I don't even feel anything like a woman. So, and time was going. So I needed to take a decision. I lost my job. When I was working in the bank, I was being treated that way. So what more of, I don't have a job. So, and these kids look up to me, and my parents, my dad and my mom's in medical staff. So I needed to take a bold step. So I left. So when I was about leaving, I made a decision of, this is how I want to live. I actually swept the whole house, cooked for him. We were supposed to go for a family wedding. But as God will have it, he did not call me anything. He went for the wedding at Ibadan without me, and I was at home. So he came to the bed, used the pillow and slammed me on the bed and said, see your life, ex-banker, you don't have anything to offer. And I was the one that paid for his exam, Cisco. When Cisco started 2008, 2009, I registered for him. He said, okay, he has the brain to study, let me have babies. That was what we had.
He has the brain to study.
So that's couple, right? So
wow.
Yeah, so he has now hammered, he now works in Lekki. Everything I do, it doesn't work, it doesn't suit him. Nothing is good as long as whatever I bring onto the table. And he now mocks at me, look at you, manager of the bank. You don't see, you don't have a job, look at your life. So he took my passport. That was the day I was supposed to get my PTA. He took the passport and I crawled to his waist and I knelt and I cried. I said, honey, please, this is, he said, oh, what are you going to do with the passport? He just flinged it onto me, and that was it. Holy Spirit arrested him. He left to the mechanic. And then the mechanic is one of my friends that told me that he has picked a girlfriend and they were going to Ibadan for the wedding that was supposed to go with Ashwebi. So that was a space for me. God just programmed it for me, in a way that I had to call my sisters and my brother. Everybody said, why didn't you tell us? They were all trying to come, but they didn't take it that serious, So I needed to go. So getting the passport, was in my custody. I took the kids, and because the kids were never close to him, they did not ask of him from the airport. They saw me packing. They didn't say, where is daddy? I've always been the one to bond for them. I mean, I bond with them whenever they're doing this cultural day. Even
always you.
Valentine's Day is the day after my birthday is the day after Valentine. When they wear this red shirt, we go to I was always there. So they only hear the voice in the middle of the night when they are sleeping. And when he goes out in the morning, he goes with the staff boss. So weekend, he goes to the gym, goes to watch soccer, and maybe comes back late in the evening for Sunday service. Before you know it, they didn't really get that bond.
He was not a present dad.
Yeah, they didn't really get that bond. And he feels so confident that I could take care of the kids, because I don't joke with my kids. You can take me, but you see these children want to be that. I work with it because I saw the way my mom trained us, even at all times, how difficult it was for her. So we don't try it. So when I left, he threatened me that if I don't come back after a month, that I should come back home. I said there was never a home.
There was never a home. There
was never a home. There was a home that I'm scared of sleeping on even till a couple of years back, I can't sleep on my bed. I have to put some barricade when I came to Canada, because I always have this feeling that it's coming to, push the pillow and suppress me. And, so I have to bring my kids. I had to get a big bed after I left the shelter. I don't mind buying the king size. So I open my door, guys, if you want to come and sleep, mommy is always, because I'm scared of, and the voices and the echoing of those voices that it scares me with threatening me. Those things were still in my mind till up to I started what's called IJ Motivate. That is what I came. I didn't have a niche. I didn't know what to say. I was scared of telling my stories to our fellow community because some of them were taking advantage of that. So I was only sharing the story with myself, and my kids would hear me talking to myself in the washroom, in the bedroom, like, Mom, who are you talking to? Like, is the Nigerian African spirits, are they here now?